Have you ever had one of those days where everything just seems to go wrong? You spill your coffee, you're late for work, and then, to top it all off, you see those flashing blue and red lights in your rearview mirror. Your heart sinks. That's exactly what happened to a man named Jack one Tuesday morning. He was on his way to an important meeting, already running behind, when he got pulled over for a minor traffic violation. He was dreading the lecture, the ticket, and the points on his license. He rolled down his window, fumbling for his license and registration, ready for the worst. But what happened next was something he could have never, ever predicted. It wasn't about a ticket, it was a moment that would completely change his perspective on life, on community, and on the people who wear the badge. Jack sat in his car, the engine humming quietly, as the police officer approached his window. The officer looked stern, professional, exactly what you'd expect. "Good morning, sir. Do you know why I pulled you over today?" Jack sighed. "I think so, officer. I was probably going a little too fast, trying to make a meeting." He handed over his documents, expecting the usual routine. The officer took them, looked them over, and then glanced at the wedding ring on Jack's finger. He paused for a moment, a different kind of expression crossing his face. He leaned in slightly and said something that caught Jack completely off guard. He said, "Sir, I see you're married." Jack nodded, confused. What did his marital status have to do with a speeding ticket? The officer continued, his voice softening. "If you weren't married," he said, "I'd be asking you for a different kind of favor today." Jack was stunned into silence. 1,000 thoughts raced through his mind. Was this a joke? A strange pickup line? What was happening? The officer seemed to notice his confusion and let out a small, weary sigh. "Let me explain," he said, his professional demeanor melting away to reveal a person who looked tired and a little desperate. He explained that his name was Officer Evans, and he wasn't looking for a date. The favor he needed was far more serious. He explained that his own wife, Sarah, was in the hospital. She had a rare blood type and was in urgent need of a kidney transplant. They had been on the waiting list for what felt like an eternity, and her condition was getting worse. They were running out of time. The reason he mentioned Jack's wedding ring was because he figured a married man would understand the desperation, the willingness to do anything for the person you love. Officer Evans continued his story, his voice thick with emotion. He told Jack that he had been pulling people over all morning, not really to write tickets, but on the off chance, the 1 in a million chance, that he might find a compatible donor. He knew it was a long shot, a crazy idea born from sleepless nights and a feeling of utter helplessness. He would check their records, look for any indication of blood type, and then, swallowing his pride, he'd ask. He'd been met with suspicion, with anger, with people who thought he was running some kind of scam. Most people just wanted their ticket so they could get on with their day. He said, "I look at your wedding ring, and I see a man who made a vow. A vow to love and protect someone. My wife is my world, and I'm failing to protect her. So, I'm breaking every rule in the book, risking my job, just for a chance." Jack was no longer thinking about his late meeting or a potential traffic ticket. He was looking at a husband, a man terrified of losing his partner. The uniform faded away, and all he saw was another human being in pain. Without even thinking, Jack asked, "What's her blood type?" Officer Evans looked up, his eyes wide with a flicker of hope. "O negative," he replied. Jack's heart skipped a beat. A coincidence, Facey. He wasn't sure, but he knew his own blood type. It was O negative. The universal donor. The rarest of the rare. In that moment, the traffic stop on the side of a busy road transformed into something monumental. It was no longer about a speeding car. It was about a chance to save a life. Jack looked Officer Evans straight in the eye and said, "Officer, I'm O negative. How do I get tested?" The look on Officer Evans's face was one Jack would never forget. It was a mixture of disbelief, relief, and overwhelming gratitude. Tears welled up in his eyes as he stammered his thanks. He quickly jotted down the hospital's information and the name of the transplant coordinator. He handed Jack back his license and registration, forgetting all about the ticket. He just kept saying, thank you, you have no idea what this means." Jack took the piece of paper, his hand trembling slightly. He promised he would call and get tested as soon as his meeting was over. As he drove away, the flashing lights now a distant memory, the world seemed different. The frustration he felt just minutes earlier had been replaced by a profound sense of purpose. He had a chance to do something truly meaningful, to give a family the gift of time. True to his word, Jack called the transplant coordinator that very afternoon. He went through the initial screening questions over the phone and scheduled an appointment for the comprehensive tests. The next few weeks were a blur of hospital visits, blood draws, and medical evaluations. The doctors needed to be absolutely sure he was a perfect match and that he was healthy enough to undergo the surgery responsibly. It was a rigorous process, but with each step, Jack felt more certain he was doing the right thing. He met Sarah, Officer Evans's wife, during one of his visits. She was weak, but her spirit was strong, and her gratitude shone through her tired eyes. He saw the love between her and her husband, and it solidified his resolve. This wasn't just about a random act of kindness. It was about preserving a family. Finally, the news came. Jack was a perfect match. The surgery was scheduled. The day of the operation was filled with a strange mix of anxiety and peace. As they prepped him for the procedure, Officer Evans, now just David to him, was by his side. He gripped Jack's hand, his voice shaking with gratitude. "I don't know how I can ever repay you," he said. Jack just smiled and said, "Pay it forward. And maybe let the next guy off with a warning." They both laughed, a moment of levity in the midst of a life-changing event. The surgery was a success. Both Jack and Sarah recovered well. A few weeks later, Jack received a photo in the mail. It was a picture of David and a healthy, smiling Sarah, standing in their backyard, bathed in sunlight. On the back, it simply said, "Our hero. Thank you for our future." This incredible story went viral after a local news station picked it up. It served as a powerful reminder that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes, they're just ordinary people who are willing to step up in an extraordinary way. Jack's decision to get tested, and ultimately donate his kidney, didn't just save Sarah's life. It sent a ripple of hope and kindness through the entire community. It inspired hundreds of people to sign up as organ donors, creating a wave of altruism that started with a simple traffic stop. It shows us that beneath the uniforms, the job titles, and the daily frustrations, we are all connected. We are all human beings with the capacity for immense compassion. So, what can we take away from this? It's a story about how a moment of inconvenience can turn into an opportunity for incredible grace. It's about seeing the humanity in others, even in stressful situations. And it's a powerful testament to the impact one person can have. You might not get pulled over by a police officer in desperate need of a kidney donor, but every single day, you have a choice. You can choose to respond to the world with frustration, or you can choose to respond with an open heart. You never know when a simple act of kindness, a moment of empathy, can change someone's life forever. Jack thought he was just getting a speeding ticket, but he ended up giving the gift of life. It makes you wonder, what opportunities are waiting for us right around the corner, disguised as everyday problems? Thanks so much for watching. If this story moved you, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more inspiring content. See you next time.